Right. Good morning, everyone. Today is Monday, November 8th, and this is the weekly update. My name is Maura Curran from the Scituate Select Board. Jim Boudreau is unable to join us this morning. He had a previously scheduled appointment. So we have Kevin Cafferty and Drew Sheely to provide some of the town updates, and then we'll move over to Bill Burkhead. So first, we'll move on to Drew. Welcome, Drew, Director of our Board of Health. Could you give us an update for COVID?
Thank you for having me, and I'm more than an honor filling in for Jim. So we have had 35 cases this week. There have been several breakthrough cases. That's not to be unexpected. The Delta variant is still out there. It's still highly contagious. We have a huge number of people that are vaccinated in our town, and that is really helping us. Again, the reason for the vaccine, it's not to necessarily stop you from getting the virus. It's to keep the symptoms to a minimum if you do get it. It's to keep people out of the hospital, out of the ICUs, so we're not overwhelming them for other critical services that we actually need. So that is where we are right now. And, we are continuing to do a good job. And if you're not vaccinated, it's still not too late. Talk to your doctor, see if it's the right thing for you.
And Drew, good news this week. A lot of children are able to get vaccinated between ages 5 and 11.
Yes, that was approved. So I really think that, right now we've been hovering around 75% of the vaccinated population in Scituate. And I think now by having the 5 to 11s, you'll probably see that number creep up. And hopefully we can get it up to about 80%. So, because that age group is included in the number of the percentage of the population. So that's good.
Okay, that's really good. And then we should have residents visit MassGov, right? Look at the COVID-19 page for their booster shots. Is that the right place for them to go?
And they can go to the 211 number if they want to call. They could go to mass.gov. Call your local pharmacy because a lot of the pharmacies are giving these out. Okay,
great. Well, thank you very much, Drew, and thank you to you and the Board of Health for all the work you've done with the school nurse population as well. Everybody's working really hard to make sure folks get vaccinated so we can get through this. So thank you.
Well, thank you. The whole town has worked hard at it. So it takes a village, right?
It does. It certainly does. All right. Thanks, Drew.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And then we'll move over to Kevin Cafferty, our director of the DPW. We've got some projects going on around town that we might want to inform folks about.
Yeah, thank you, Maura. If people are out and about today, they'll notice that we are paving. We're paving around the common. We're doing First Parish, Beaver Dam, and that general area we expect to be completed today. Our next paving that we're going to be doing this year is we will be doing Peggotty Beach parking lot. That'll be later in the year. We still have some cleanup to do around there due to the storm. We've got some sand. We've tried cleaning it up, but we need a little more time before we can go out and do that. Next year, what we're planning on doing is we're going to pave Old Oaken Bucket Road. Obviously, we put a new water line in there. We put a top coat on the trench for the winter. We're going to pave a section of Brook Street, most of Brook Street. We're going to do about 1,100 feet of Tilden Road. We're planning Utility Road, Cedarwood Road, Fairview Ave, Chittenden Road, as well as Bailey's Causeway as a minimum. What we do is we've got some other streets we want to add to that list, but we're working with the gas company as well as the water department and the sewer department so that we're not digging them up a few years later. We'll include that in our I&I portion of the projects to make sure that, we won't have that effect. Storm cleanup, DPW crews are still cleaning up and doing tree removal. They're also preparing for Veterans Day. I hate to even bring it up, but we're starting to put sanders on the trucks. So you might see a couple trucks go by with sanders on it. Winter's around the corner. With the water, the reservoir was up 2 inches and Tack Factory Pond was up 5 inches. We will continue draining them during this whole wet season, which is unprecedented. We've opened up the gates and just let all the water flow, trying to keep them down so that we don't have overflows in the reservoirs. The average daily demand the last 7 days was about 1.1 million gallons, which is where we typically are. 80% of that water is being provided by the wells. The rainfall for the last 7 days has been 0 inches, which is been a while since we've had that. We're not taking on any new water mains at this time. We're only doing services, primarily on Brook Street, Bradford, possibly Tilden, Rainbow Court, and we might be out at Foam. We have a small 2-inch water main break on Jol that we'll be addressing today. We started work on it Friday, but it is underneath the pole, so we're afraid of losing the telephone pole. So we made some arrangements to redo that today. Manganese levels are still dropping at Old Oaken Bucket. Total organic carbon still remains high. Crews are working on well 17A. We're in the training section. We're learning how to run all that equipment so that we can get it going. We've also had some good results for future treatment plant with the pilot study that's been ongoing on with the water treatment plant. And that's all I have.
Well, excellent. Your crew's very busy. So in spirit of November as being the month of gratitude, I want to thank, you and your entire team, as well as all the rest of the town employees, for everything that they do every day to keep the town moving, but especially with the cleanup over the past week. It looks great. So Kevin, is there anything, or, there are a lot of roads and debris on the side. Is there anything additional? Should folks call the DPW office if they see something on the side that has been missed by chance?
So we keep a list in our office, and we're going out and evaluating it as the calls come in. And people just have to be patient. It's going to take a little while for us to get everything. We've done a really good job. We had water and sewer guys working with the tree crews, helping load chippers and get stuff done. We also have had the highway department pretty much full time with the grounds department. So we're getting there. This week, it's going to be a little slower because we're also putting some efforts towards preparing for Veterans Day. So we won't have the same typical crew that we have out there. We'll get that all set up, but just be patient. Guys did a great job during the storm. I can't be happier. As well as, I still want to reach out and say, we sent a letter to Danvers as well as the state for supplying tree crews to help us out in that time of need. So that was great.
That's great. Yeah, they did do a great job. And then the other thing I think we should probably call out is we're working on First Parish right by the senior center. Should folks be entering on Cudworth if they want to go to the senior center today, or will they be able to get in on First Parish?
Right now it's closed down. They should be entering on Cudworth.
Okay.
And we will be marking the road, hopefully as early as Wednesday. We'll be putting out the line striping as well as reestablishing the crosswalk and putting the crosswalk going across there. And then hopefully we're done with that area for a while.
All right, great. Thank you. It looks great.
Thank you.
So thank you. Bill, a little update from the schools today?
Yes, good morning. And good morning, everyone. I'll start off with our health and wellness update on cases. We had a tough week last week in the schools. We had 13 cases, up from 3 the week before. And just to give folks a sky level view, I'm just going to review the weekly numbers so you can get a little sense of trends or patterns. They've been very low and very good. This is an outlier right now, so we'll see what this week brings with the 13. But the week of 9/17 we had 2, 9/24 we had 3, 10/1 we had 6, 10/8 we had 4, 11/12 we had 0. And I jumped over a few, sorry. 10/22 we had 6, 10/29 we had 3. And again, this week we had 13. So we'll keep you posted on that. I also want to point out that we have close contacts. When this happens in the schools, we have to monitor those that have been within a certain distance or for a certain amount of time. And we have what's called a test and stay program that we're very fortunate to have, which keeps kids in school and has them, approval from the parents being tested every day. So that taxes our school nurses. And currently we are, with this many cases, we're running test and stay at Hatherley in Gates, totaling about 45 daily tests for 7 straight days. So when the kids come into school, they'll be tested. And that's been very helpful to us. The old policy last year was that those kids would have to stay home from school for several days. So that's working well. It's just a lot more extra work. So I do want to give a shout out to our nurses and also the families for cooperating and, working with us to make this happen, to keep kids in school. So it's working very well. Next, I want to talk a little bit about collaboration and working with the the town and the school connections. I think it's extremely strong here in Scituate, and I just want to supply some examples for our community. We had a wonderful opportunity to receive some state-funded personal protective equipment, surgical masks, face shields, goggles, that kind of thing, gloves. And we had to pick it up in Franklin, and we had to get a trailer and things. You had to supply your own way of getting up to Franklin and getting this truckload of goods. So I know Kevin's on the call today. I just couldn't be happier with our folks and the Scituate Town Department, Public Works. Kevin Kelly was instrumental. The chief of police was instrumental in helping us store it. Our custodial team was outstanding. Dave Raffel did a real good job of getting it done. And then our nurses and custodians working to distribute that to all of our schools. So we didn't have that support from the town in supplying a truck and a way to get that and also to store it. Before we could break it out and get into the schools, we would have lost that opportunity. And it came out to about $32,000 worth of free PPE. So thank you. Very, very helpful. Next, I just want to give an update that we work closely with our local police to provide intruder training for all our district. Something new that we started a couple of years ago was that our entire staff before school start is trained in intruder safety. And then it goes down to the students. And recently, I just want to give a shout out to our SRO Sherry and our police department for working with us to get all of our students trained now. So that's a really important thing that we're still working on, student safety and staff safety in our buildings, and we're coordinating with our local police to get that done early in the school year. So thank you. Next, I want to give a athletics update. It's tournament time of year. It's very exciting. It's great to see the stands full of people enjoying the athletics and our kids playing, and it's really nice to see. So girls soccer and field hockey made the tournament this year and lost their first game. So I want to congratulate them on both having very successful years. Boys soccer is still in the tournament. They won their first round and they'll be playing at Nauset on Wednesday. Cheerleading yesterday qualified for the regional competition, which will be held next weekend. So congrats, girls. That was outstanding. Cross country runners are in the state championship this weekend. Good luck to them. Golf was very successful, finishing 5th in our sectional competition. And finally, football will go on to the state quarterfinals after a victory this week and be home on Friday at 7 p.m. versus Ashland. So a lot of activity going on and a lot of success for this year and a great fall for our team. So congratulations to the players, the coaches, our athletic department, and our community. And finally, just wanted to give some sailor shout outs. One focus this year is really working on connecting and communication and doing so with our civilly and responsibly, modeling that with our community and our parents. I've held a seaside chat already. It was very well attended, and I appreciate that. There'll be a few more. Mr. Beatty held his first coffee with caregivers, and it was a great turnout. So I want to thank the families and community members of the Gate School for coming out and meeting with Mr. Beatty to have conversations. I think that's what will make us a stronger district, especially since we've been on Zoom so long, and having these in-person conversations are extremely helpful and beneficial. And I also want to give a shout out to our Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Mr. Jamil Adams, who has been chosen to be a featured speaker at the METCO Directors Association Conference. His topic will be on elementary schools and affirming the importance of love, inclusion, and trust, and community building. And so he's been chosen for some of the things we're doing here in Scituate. So that's really a kudos to him and to our district and to the elementary staff and students that are working on those things. And finally, I just want to give a thank you to our best buddies who surprised us with beautifully decorated pumpkins last week to put in our offices. So it's in here with pride, and it really came out beautiful. So thank you to the kids and staff of our Best Buddies program for being so thoughtful in doing so. Everyone have a great week. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bill. You got a lot going on in the district.
Yeah.
So busy man, busy staff. So thank you very much, and good luck to all the teams this weekend, and Friday night, I'm sure will be well attended. So that's great. Good for them.
Thank you.
Right, I have a couple of updates, some additional updates. So from our assessor's office, I wanted to update you all that veterans exemptions are available to Scituate property owners who have a VA letter granting a service-connected disability. These various exemptions are available for those who are 65 and older, blind, and surviving spouses. Community preservation exemptions are based on income and age. There are residency, domicile, and ownership requirements for all exemptions. So please visit the assessor's page for information on our town website, or you can call the assessor's office at 781-545-8712. And then also some additional veterans news. As we know, this week is Veterans Day that we'll be celebrating. And for the first time since 2019, our Scituate Post 144 will be hosting their annual Veterans Day luncheon. This year, it will be at the Scituate Senior Center. They are asking that they do need a count before the event. So if you could email adjutant@scituatepost144.org or call Jean at 617-842-0092. And they would like to know your branch of service and the years served. It's going to be a wonderful event commencing at the flagpole at the Senior Center at around 10:45 a.m. And then folks will move on to a luncheon that's been very generously donated and catered by the Voyage from Hummerock. So I'm sure that'll be delicious. And then the Scituate Food Pantry has graciously donated the dessert. So it certainly will be a great event for all, no doubt. So please join us in celebrating the veterans in town. And then lastly, I just wanted to call out and thank our Scituate City West Cork Committee for hosting the Ambassador of Ireland to the United States, Daniel Muhall, as well as the Consul General from Boston, Leisha Moore, yesterday. It was a lovely event, and I wanted to just call out and thank John Sullivan and that committee, and also thank Brian Houlihan, who cooked a delicious dinner, and the ambassador couldn't have been more gracious, and we were honored to have him. So it was a great event. Selectman Vignani and Jim attended as well with the committee, so it was very nice. So with that, that's all I have, and just want to wish everyone a great week. It's a beautiful day, and enjoy this great weather. Thank you all.